The Canucks keep winning meaningless games, and now the newest prospect is in town. Aidan McDonough is now officially a Vancouver Canuck. We're going to talk about that all today on Locked On Canucks. It's Begsy, it's Bhawan, and you're listening to Locked On Canucks.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
On today's episode of Locked On Canucks, my name is Trevor Beggs, Canucks writer and part-time credentialed media member for Daily Hive Vancouver. And before we dive into today's show, we want to thank you for making Locked On Canucks your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, where the best way you can help us grow is to listen every day and subscribe. Now, Kyle, I know you got a lot on your mind today, and we're going to get to that later on in the show, but I just want to give you a quick how are you? How you doing today, bud?
I'm doing good. More on me a little bit later. Again, we'll save the comment corner for the end of the show because, we got to save the best for last. And me, I'm doing, you know me, Trevor, okay? As usual, I'm all over the place. It's kind of as if I'm going back in time to when Henrik and Daniel retired. You know what I'm saying? But again, we'll get to that a little bit later.
Yeah, we'll get to that a little bit later. We're also going to debut our first edition of the Markus Granlund Player of the Week, and we'll tell you a little bit about that later. But first, we want to get into some news and notes. And obviously, the big news of today for the Vancouver Canucks is that they have signed Aidan McDonough. They were a 23-year-old now. He was a 7th round pick back in 2019. Guy's come a long ways, man. And he played out his career at Northeastern University. He was captain there. Big goal scorer, big time shot, big time power play producer. He is now a member of the Vancouver Canucks, and there was a lot of talk about him over the past year, potentially, not signing in Vancouver. When he went back for another season last year, his senior season, there was some concern, and even Patrick Allvin has come out publicly that he kind of gave a last call to McDonough last spring when he decided to go back for one more year. But none of that matters now because he is signed as a member of the Vancouver Canucks, a 2-year entry-level deal paying him $925,000 per season. Not a bad little pay bump for the 23-year-old who should start the season with the Vancouver Canucks. Kyle, what were your initial thoughts about this 7th round pick coming over and signing with the Vancouver Canucks?
Well, congratulations and thanks for giving this organization a chance with your career, right? The start of your NHL career, which is a little bit of a risk. Let's be honest. Let's be real. I think he probably would have had options to do this somewhere else if he just played it out. But here he is picking the Canucks, and for that, I'm appreciative because that's the city, that's the team. So thank you. Now I will say this is very deja vu like. We've seen this almost every year, right? A little moral victory to top off what's been a pretty destructive season. So let's not let this be a smokescreen. For real, and demand more in the offseason. So good win for the team, good win for McDonough, good win for the Canucks and Allvin and Rutherford. But there's so much more work to be done. The people, they caught me on the wrong day. It's Monday. I'm supposed to, start the week with the vibes, give the people momentum for the rest of the week. But you've seen what's happened to me, okay? You've seen what happened to me today, and I'm a bit all over the place, and here I am being pretty much like overly pessimistic about this. Not pessimistic, but my energy towards this situation is, again, very deja vu like, very negative, very whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and if you are listening to us through audio only right now, Kyle is pointing at his Green Bay Packers hat, and obviously it was a big news day for the Green Bay Packers. But since this is the Canucks show, we're going to touch about Kyle's thoughts and feelings later on in the episode. I do have the same kind of thoughts as you with Aidan McDonough. It's, good for the kid. I'm excited to see what he can bring to the team at the NHL level. But fans just need to make sure they pump the brakes, I think it's easy to overestimate a guy, especially when there's been, a year plus of talk like, will he sign with the Vancouver Canucks? Or is he going to walk and be a free agent? And are we going to lose this prospect for nothing? Like, there's that kind of hoopla that makes you overrate a prospect. At the end of the day, McDonough is a skilled player who has some flaws. I think the foot speed is an obvious flaw, and it waits to be seen how he keeps up at both the AHL and NHL levels. Where he is a good hockey player is his two-way awareness is strong and has gotten better throughout his college career. and he's just got a knack for scoring goals. He got an NHL-ready shot, and Cam Robinson has had the stat as well. He tweeted out today, 44% of his goals throughout his NCAA career came on the power play. So he
Nice.
is a power play producer, strong player, good at getting to the middle of the ice. But again, we're probably looking at a guy who's, I personally see him right now as a fourth line power play specialist. Maybe get some soft match play on the fourth line, hold your minutes at even strength, and then capitalize on some opportunities on power play too. I think that's where he's going to end up as an NHLer, but obviously we don't know yet. We don't know. He has to make the jump from college hockey to pro hockey still. So again, I think with the structure of this deal, and he had some negotiating power because he could have walked as a free agent. He will get a shot at the NHL first before playing in the AHL, and it's likely next year will be a big season in the AHL for him. And I said the Canucks got to pump the brakes on McDonough.
Can I cut you off there? Okay, so
Yeah.
it's a 2-year deal, and he's probably going to burn the first year this year,
Yeah.
right?
So
Correct?
it's basically a 1 year and change deal.
And so yeah, I feel as if he needs to do whatever it takes to make the NHL next season. That's an obvious statement, not just for the organization, but for himself too. For real. Because I feel as if he does crack the lineup and maybe he impresses, there is a lot of offensive power on this team, and there's a lane there for him to pad some stats going into a scenario where he needs a new contract. So maybe that was a good play for him, like for the Canucks, extra motivation, not give him the 3 years.
Yeah. I'm curious to see how it all works out with him. Because again, he's got, next year's a big prove year for Aidan McDonough and the rest of this season as well, for sure.
True.
But I think two reasons why we need to pump the brakes, and there's recent examples of the Canucks, overhyping college players, we'll call it that. And these were two players who also played at Northeastern University, just like McDonough, but it was Tyler Madden and Adam Gaudette. Now, Tyler Madden never played a game for the Vancouver Canucks. He was traded as part of the Tyler Toffoli deal. But at the time, he was seen as this on the rise, can't miss prospect. He's going to be great. He had 37 points in 27 games during his last year of university hockey. So he was basically a 21-year-old at that point, or 20 turning 21. He has yet to play an NHL game. He's been pretty much a half point per game player in the AHL, albeit he plays for a stacked Kings team. So despite all the hype on Tyler Madden, hasn't really worked out. Adam Gaudette, I think fans in Vancouver know his story a lot better. He was rushed to the NHL, according to Trent Call. He said that in an interview last year, and just never really developed at the AHL level. He obviously has some offensive gifts, but it just hasn't worked out. So, and Adam Gaudette was a much more prolific player than Aidan McDonough. So Aidan McDonough this season had 38 points in 34 games for his final year of university hockey. And it was very similar to his production last year. And Adam Gaudette's last season of university hockey, he had 30 goals and 60 points in 38 games. So he was much more prolific offensively than Aidan McDonough, and it still didn't work out at the NHL level. So, again, excited to see what Aidan McDonough brings, but I think for those reasons, Kyle, you got to pump the brakes. You got to pump the brakes if you're a fan of Aidan McDonough and the Canucks.
Yeah, and there you go, Trevor. There you go, Kyle. Just on a 7th round pick,
Oh, come on! I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't call it that. I wouldn't call it that.
Yeah, just telling people and telling McDonough too, like, okay, whatever, buddy, whatever, dude. 7th round pick, you made it. Whatever, buddy. Crazy,
it's been
right?
a lot of
you and I are podcasters, doing this, and that dude just did that, and dude, come on, man, he's doing something. Come on, that like, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy how we can do this, and it's cool too. But it's like, damn, this guy's really living my first dream, because I want to be a Vancouver Canuck. That was the first thing I ever wanted to do, and we're just like, yeah, whatever, buddy. Nice,
Yeah,
but it's nothing. Cool times.
I think Canuck fandom has just toughened us up a little bit, Kyle.
Yeah.
That's the way it goes. That's the way it goes when your team's been mediocre for a decade plus.
And on that note, again, congratulations to McDonough, and thank you for picking our city. For real.
100%. Two other signings I want to get to in this little news and notes section of the Vancouver Canucks here in segment 1 of Locked On Canucks. The Canucks also signed Phil Giuseppe to a deal, a 2-year extension. And, the guy, he's held his own at the NHL level. I think he's good depth for this organization. He's looked good alongside JT Miller and Brock Besser at points. And again, he's can produce at the AHL level. He can kill penalties. He's responsible defensively. So just good on him. He's signed for the league minimum of $775,000 for this season and next, and a nice $500,000 for playing in the minors. I mean, I can see why he signed this deal. Damn, not bad.
What a hustler, man. I enjoy watching him play because of his effort level. I mean, he's not the best defensively, but I feel as if he's just in there. He's in there and he's on the forecheck. He's trying hard, and why not, right? You're trying to make your dreams come true, and in a sense, he just did because he landed a new deal, and that's good for him, man. I'm proud of him. And what a name, dude. What a name. Shout out to that sandwich shop on Commercial. I don't know the name of it, but it's a great Italian sandwich for real. For real.
Di Giuseppe. I'm butchering that for sure, but yeah, no, he's been a great find for the Canucks, and I was happy to see him get his NHL shot this season. I know injuries kind of got in the way last season. We all thought he was going to make the team out of camp. I think you remember that, right? When it was supposed to be Jason Dickinson and Phil Di Giuseppe were supposed to be the number one penalty killers for this team, and then that just never transpired. So happy for him. And then the last thing I want to touch on was the Canucks have signed defenseman Kirill Kudryavtsev to a 3-year entry-level deal. Now, he was the 7th round pick in last year's draft in 2022. And at Nucks Misconduct and elsewhere on the web, we kind of deemed him as a potential steal. Now, this guy was supposed to be like kind of a 3rd, 4th round pick. And he ended up slipping to the 7th round. But he's a defenseman who seems to be pretty good at both ends of the ice, at least at the junior level. Good defensive awareness, but he also had around 40 points in 60 games during his draft eligible season last year. So again, when we talked before about Hronek needing to play with that responsible left side defenseman, he's a Kirill Kudryavtsev is obviously a long way from that, but profiles as a guy who might have what it takes to make it for the NHL level. And if that's the case, it would be another nice win for this Canucks drafting team if another 7th round pick like McDonough could play some NHL games.
Let us know in the comments below if you know how to pronounce that last name. Let's cut to break, right? We got to do that now. You're listening to Locked On Canucks, and Trevor, man, you've been drinking that stuff? You've been doing that?
Of course, man. Of course, every day.
There you go. Oh, I thought it was like a little segue to the ad,
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you want me to do the ad read? Sure,
yeah.
Sure.
Oh, sorry. Hey, we still practicing, bro. We still practicing, okay?
I almost thought you were going to take over and do the read of that. The way you were sliding that up, that was funny. Yeah, so I've been drinking that stuff every day, and that stuff is called Athletic Greens. And because I've been drinking it, I've been able to begin to leave my my vacation dad bod in the dust. So what is this stuff? With one delicious scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole-source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging. All the things. Kyle, I usually get up at 4 a.m. to work on my Canucks content. I know, man. I know it's a grind, but
hey, let them know why you're waking up at 4 a.m. because you're drinking this stuff for real.
I wake up at 4 a.m. because I look forward to that scoop of Athletic Greens.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm sleeping until 8.
No, I can tell, man, because the other day, I remember you leaving me a text message at 4:15 saying this stuff is amazing. And I was like, why are you waking me up just to let me? It's crazy, man.
Oh, man. Yeah. So waking up at 4 a.m. And I used to start with the coffee, but now it's that scoop of AG1 first thing in the morning. And it is a great way to start my day. As a dad, I do need my sleep. Got to get to bed nice and early. But having that Athletic Greens supports better sleep quality, recovery, and mental clarity and alertness. When you use AG1, you're investing in an all-in-one nutritional insurance. Whoa. And Athletic Greens has over 7,000 5-star reviews.
Whoa.
Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just one scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/NHL Network. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/NHL network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
Beautiful, man. Who needs health insurance when you got Athletic Greens? Now you're back on Locked On Canucks, and man, that was a jam-packed first segment, man. I feel very Canucked up. I'm not gonna lie.
Canucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something that rhymes with that, and it makes me feel about this team, but that's beside the point.
Oh man.
One big part of being a Canuck fan has, over the last few years at least, has been analyzing the Sea of Granlund. And shout out to the late great Jason Botchford, who originally deemed this term about 4 years ago, and he's still one of my favorite journalists of all time. And rest in
One love,
peace,
one
Jason
love,
Botchford.
one
But I
love.
thought it kind of made me think, again, looking at this roster right now, that maybe we should think of doing a Markus Granlund of the Week award.
Oh
And
yeah,
and
you
and
nailed
really,
this one, bro. Bro, I'm so impressed with this segment right here, and you're just turning more and more into a producer every single day now. I feel as if you're just making strides because you're just going straight to the point. You're not trying to hide what this is about. There's no metaphors here. We're going straight to the point. You just brought up Aidan McDonough, college free agent, NCAA guy, signs at the end of the year, moral victory, and then you have this award right here, which always happens too. Who's that guy at the end of the year who shouldn't be scoring all these goals, but he is? That being said, Dries, I like the guy because again, the hustle, man. These journeymen, because Beggsy, you and I, we're the D Giuseppe's, we're the Sheldon Dries of the world, okay? So when these guys are doing it, how can you not, feel it too? It's relatable.
yeah, exactly. And in case you didn't catch that, Sheldon Dries is our first winner of the Markus Granlund of the Week award.
Ooh,
And really, again, when you've looked at this Canuck roster for the past 5, 6, 7 years, there have been a bunch of guys kind of in the middle six, bottom of the lineup, who are just guys. They're just there. But eventually one of them steps up, and this week it was Sheldon Dries. I wanted to bring him up because he scored his 10th goal of the season on
whoop,
Saturday night
whoop.
against the Sens, and it was a snipe. It was an absolute snipe, man. I mean, I'll tell you, when I was watching the game on the weekend, it's Saturday. It's the day off for us, so I was at the pub. I was having a few drinks. I wasn't paying super close attention, but that snipe caught my eye, man. How could it not? He lasered that one top shelf. And I was kind of surprised to see that it was his 10th goal of the season. So he has scored 10 goals in just 46 games. Now he's obviously hasn't played in a
Oh,
bunch of the Canucks games as a scratch and being a call up. But over a full season, his basically scoring at almost an 18 goal pace. 17.8 goals per 82 games would be his pace right now. So for a guy who many predicted wouldn't even be at the NHL level, he's scored, again, 17.8 goals per 82 games. It's pretty impressive. Uh,
very.
I will say in Markus Granlund like fashion, he's obviously not a perfect player. I will say on Saturday in a game that the Canucks pretty much outplayed Ottawa, I know the chances shots were relatively even. Sheldon Dries had a 16% expected goal differential on Saturday, which is pretty bad. It's not
Pretty
good.
bad.
It's
Pretty
not
bad.
good.
Okay. I'm not
Um,
sure on the data. I'm not sure on the data. Look at you, Beggsy. Okay, this guy's trying to get paid at the end of the season. Like he's one of us, bro. And you just driving the bus and running him over right after you just score 10 goals, in 46 games with 17.8 goals per 82. Like, dude, just let this guy sign a 3-year, $3.7 million deal, 1.2 a year, whatever, with someone else. And come on, there you go, man. If some GM listens to this, he's still a two-way player, bro, and it's your fault.
when did the ghost of Jim Benning just enter your body? You want to sign Sheldon Dries to a 3-year, $3.7 million deal?
Not per. I'm talking,
Holy,
I'm not talking per. I'm talking like 1.26 per year. Just
still,
reward the guy. Like maybe he gets,
still, man.
maybe he gets to like 14 or 15 goals here. And he just, somebody sees that, then they use the calculator. And he's like, 19.7 goals per 82 games for a guy who plays 11. Yo, this guy deserves it, bro. Come on, man. We saw what happened. Maybe he gets like a Curtis Lazar type of deal, but never mind now because some GM or 4 GMs just watched Locked On Canucks and heard Trevor Beggs just run this guy over, man. He's one of us, Beggsy. Remember that.
Sheldon Dries, yeah, I will say he's filled in admirably considering his NHL potential and ceiling. He's basically played third line center for a good chunk of the season, but I'm not really seeing him elevate his line mates a lot. Like right now, he's been playing with Kravtsov and Podkolzin, and I would say Podkolzin for the most part has been carrying those two players around the ice when the three have been out together. So. Again, I just want to celebrate Sheldon Dries a little bit. We got to admit that he's not the perfect player.
No, you don't, dude.
He's
Come
not
on,
the perfect
man.
player. He's not the perfect player, but he is our Markus Granlund of the week. Now,
Oh,
Kyle, we got one more segment to go here on Locked On Canucks. But before we get to there, You asked me how I'm taking Athletic Greens every day. Well, guess what? I'm also eating Built Bar every day
Good. That's
because,
nice.
oh yeah, it is good.
Okay.
100%. I mean,
Great.
if you're like me and you want to eat healthier, but you don't want to compromise the taste, then man, I've got the thing just for you. You got to try Built. With Built, healthy is actually tasty. Seriously, they're so delicious, you won't think they're good for you. What makes Built Bar so good? Well, for starters, they're covered in 100% real chocolat. That's right, real
What?
chocolat.
What? This is not
And
locked on Canadians, buddy. Come on,
hey,
dude.
well,
You gotta know your
it's
people, bro. You gotta know your people.
one
For
day I'm
real.
going to read the ad en français, but
Okay.
today it's just that one word. Built Bars also come in unbelievably good flavors like churro, peanut butter brownie, and chocolate
Oh,
almond.
hold up, dude. Churro. Did you say churro? I can eat this Built Bar churro version and just get on with my day. Pair that up with athletic greens and just do whatever do whatever I want. Are you serious?
Pretty much, man. It'll make you feel better about the departure of Aaron Rodgers, but we'll talk about that in a sec. Because I'm not sure how Built does it, but these bars, especially that churro one, man, these bars are so good. They taste like a candy bar, but they still manage to maintain amazing macros. And what's better, even better than that, is they're healthy. Only 130 calories and 4 grams of sugar with a whopping 17 grams of protein. You can order your favorite flavor of Built Bars today at built.com.
The other day, I was eating a Built Bar and, dude, didn't even get stuck in my teeth. For real. Think about that. Sometimes we eat these healthy bars, bro, and you got to carry a brush with you, So eat up, build yourself up. Built Bar. Boom. Locked on Canucks. Trevor Beggs, Kyle Bhawan. Comment corner, okay? For real. We're going to save the best for last. It's all about the people. Beggsy did say about 5 minutes ago that, he was at the bar during the Senators game and he had no time to record a Locked On Canucks podcast. Whereas I'm ready to go whenever. So in the comments below, just let me know that that's appreciated, okay? Team Kyle, because I would have been there. I would have been there. But Beggsy, he puts his family and his recreational activities over you. It is what it is. But again, comment corner, we got two paired up as one because it was just easy to print screen. We got one from Locked On Senators, Go Sens Go. I threw that in there because these guys DM'd us on Twitter, and they're one of the most poppin' podcasts on the network covering the NHL teams. Okay, and he or they both message us, and
Yeah,
I'm
Ross
just
and Brandon.
there you go. Thanks for the names. And I'm just like, damn, these guys are so nice. People at Locked On want to see everyone win. That's something else. And that's how we're going to win a championship for real. Okay. So one love to the Sens and their fans and that podcast. I know you guys are struggling, but it is what it is. And then we have another guy saying players don't say bleep because it would what? I'm wearing my sunglasses. Okay. Players don't say bleep because it would hurt their brand. They just want to make enough dough and peace out, blah, blah, blah. Speaking of brand, okay? Speaking of brand and players not having a lot of personality in the NHL, aka not posting a lot on social media, aka just not having a lot of fun. Kind of relative, but not. Okay. Aaron Rodgers, Green Bay Packers, right? He's pretty much done. I'm feeling emotional. Again, it feels as if I'm going back in time to when Henrik and Daniel retired, right? Just I had that same feeling. I'm remembering all the memories and I'm throwing away all the BS I said about them and all the anger that I poured over them. I'm just forgetting that and just remembering the memories and being grateful for the amount of time they offered me, right? Because they gave me hope. And hope is all we have. And here are these athletes doing the best they can who happen to play for my favorite teams. Again, giving me hope, and I'm grateful for that. And thank you. Henrik and Daniel, Aaron Rodgers, competitive teams, hope. Thank you. Now, over the weekend, or maybe like 3 days ago, there was three Jets players, current Jet players, some of the best players on the Jets. They were having an Aaron Rodgers ritual-like ceremony, burning a cheese head and pretty much asking Aaron Rodgers to come to the Jets while their quarterback, the second overall pick from a couple of years ago, is still on the roster. You will never see this. I almost said the S word again. You'll never see this in the NHL. But I like that stuff. I like that stuff, man. For real. It's entertaining. It's WWE like. For real. Now, can the
Yeah.
NHL be more WWE like minus all the injuries and like the maybe like less fights or just can we just have some theater in the NHL for real? And on that note, honestly, I wouldn't mind if there were more fights in the NHL. There's something about it, something different. But hey, can the NHL just be a little bit more like that? The answer is no.
Yeah, well, maybe one day though, right? It's funny that you bring up the fights because I think we have so much awareness about concussions and fighting, and for the most part, we realize it's probably not good that it happens. But that being said, what do like casual fans that talk to you, Kyle, and you listening out there? What do casual fans bring up to you most? Probably how much they love hockey fights. Like that's one of the number one things I hear from casual fans. They think hockey fights are just like freaking awesome.
Well, they like, again,
it's different.
Like the theater. It's different. They like the theater. Like they like how it's provoking. And bro, I've seen Pat McAfee. Ironically, we're talking about Aaron Rodgers. I've seen Pat McAfee tweet a lot about hockey fights, and he's bringing the game to his audience via those highlights. Now he does sometimes post other highlights as well, and that's good because it is about the game. But again, there is something about the physicality of hockey that stands out. And let's be honest, we're humans. What was probably the first sport? It's in us to view and be entertained by a fight. Because again, that was probably one of the first sports in mankind. For real. Now, to answer your question again, I've been seeing more YouTubers, and this is just something the NHL has to do. They just got to blow up their marketing budget and just keep sending Connor McDavid highlights to all these YouTubers to react to because he's the dude. It's the fights and the physicality. It's at number 2, number 3 on how you sell the game. Right now, though, at number 1 and way above fighting and physicality is Connor McDavid because he is the best athlete in his sport playing right now, for real. I think Mahomes is up there for real, but individually speaking, the stats are just unbelievable. I've never seen anything like this in the NHL. There's still, 17, 18 games left, and this guy's what, like 127 points, 128 points? What? And why do I feel like he's going to get 170 next season? For real. He's that good.
Yeah. One final thought for me before we get out of here, Kyle, but I was listening to the latest episode of the West Coast Express podcast over the weekend done by Scott Rintoul, and Trevor Lind was talking about how dominant Jerome McGinley was in the 2004 playoffs and had me thinking about, from a Canucks perspective, like, could that be Elias Pettersson one day? Could that be Elias Pettersson in the playoffs just single-handedly carrying this team? And I started thinking, why couldn't Connor McDavid? I mean, he almost did it last year, but they still got swept in the conference finals. Like, why couldn't Connor McDavid be this guy this year in a pretty weak Western Conference? I don't know, man. You'll never hear me cheering for the Oilers, but I've never felt more bullish on them making the Cup final than I do right now.
Bringing up the past, comparing McDavid.
But we got Aidan McDonough, so it's all good. It's all good.
It's
Aidan
all
McDonough's here.
Remember a couple years ago when somebody compared or brought up how Pettersson was going to be better than McDavid? Yeah, that was really bad for the NHL, for real. That was really bad. Yeah. I was in media market in Vancouver. We got to be doing better because I know it's about the stories and the clicks, but we got to be telling the truth about the league to really spread it. And right now, McDavid is that guy. Don't lie on McDavid's name because he can do a lot. And you should not be comparing Pettersson ever to Connor McDavid because, it's Connor McDavid. It's true, the whole Oilers thing, it's just Connor McDavid. You want to grow the game. You want to grow the NHL. That's the dude. You don't have to ask this guy to be more personable. Just don't get this guy to do things he's not comfortable doing or not great at. Just show people the highlights because the common sports fan can tell that his athleticism is on another level, and that's what we'll marvel at, for real.
Yeah, don't compare Pettersson to McDavid. And, you listening right now, we know that's not you, so it's all good. Yeah. But if you got friends who are doing that, tell them off. And then tell them to listen to Locked On Canucks. We want to thank you for making Locked On Canucks your first listen today. Now make your second listen game to game. Locked On NHL. Every moment, every performance, every result. Locked On Game to Game covers every game from across Locked On NHL with local analysis that only Locked On can deliver. Follow Game to Game on Locked On NHL. Available on Audacity, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. Until next time, I'm Trevor Beggs. He's Kyle Bhawan. Thanks for listening to Locked On Canucks.
Go Canucks. Peace.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.